How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I'm going to be discussing how a ketogenic diet can be dangerous if you don't do this. So essentially, on a ketogenic diet, you keep insulin levels extremely low. And what happens is when insulin levels are low, your body actually starts to let go of a lot of resources. That includes body fat, and that also includes minerals, such as mainly sodium. And when sodium is released from the tissues, potassium and magnesium is let go as well. Typically, most standard American diets consume a lot of sodium in the form of processed foods, typically getting anywhere from 5 grams to 9 grams a day. Now, in the context of a standard American diet, the high sodium intake's not necessary. And the other problem with that is that standard American diets are very low in potassium, okay? The key here is not, oh, sodium is bad. The key here is sodium is vitally important for regulating potassium. And if you don't get enough potassium, then sodium can be problematic. And if you don't get enough sodium, then you can have problems with potassium. It works in synergy. Okay, these two work together. On a ketogenic diet, you must get adequate amounts of sodium and salt. Okay, most of the longest living populations in the world, they consume large amounts of sodium and potassium in ideal ratios. Okay, a ketogenic diet, because insulin levels are extremely low, it's vitally important that you get enough sodium and potassium. Most people that go on ketogenic diets, so people who fail at ketogenic diets, they get the keto flu. The keto flu is caused by the salt loss, the water loss, and potassium loss. To avoid the keto flu, just get enough salt. Just get enough potassium, okay? And the thing is, you need a lot of it, okay? You need approximately 1 tablespoon per day of sodium, of salt, okay, regular salt. And it's most likely a good idea, even if you eat spinach and kale and avocado, it's probably a good idea to also consume 1/4 of a teaspoon of this new salt, potassium salt. A lot of people do light salt. I like to do, this is pure potassium, okay, light salt's a mixture. This is just pure potassium. That way you are in complete control of the amounts of potassium you get compared to sodium. And every 1/4 of a teaspoon of this contains about 700 milligrams of potassium, if you do your math right. And so, ideally, 1/4 of a teaspoon of this, probably twice a day, combined with about a 1/2 teaspoon of regular salt. Now, I like Himalayan salt. But anything that doesn't contain the fillers and the dextrose and the other things they add to table salt, it's going to be a good idea. You can use regular sea salt, Celtic sea salt, real salt. This is cheap, this is natural, and it's high in trace elements. And we're talking about electrolytes. You know, when you buy natural spring water, or if you buy mineral water, okay, typically sodium is going to be the highest mineral in mineral water, and it's going to have trace elements in the micrograms, you know, 0.1 micrograms, and the very, very trace amounts of other elements are going to be found naturally in most mineral waters. And the reason why I bring that up is because people say there's not enough minerals to make a difference and pink salt. But what I'm going to say is the trace elements, they do matter when it comes to hydrating your cells. But anyway, that's just a very minute point about the different types of salt. It really isn't significant. But what I'm saying is get some type of sodium. Get 5 grams of sodium per day on a keto diet, along with maybe about 1,600 milligrams of potassium, but spread out throughout the day. Potassium can cause problems for people with kidney issues or diabetes, but for people who don't have any medical issues at all and aren't taking pharmaceutical drugs, as long as you spread this out throughout the day, you're unlikely to have any problems at all. I just took about 800 milligrams of this potassium salt, along with about 800 milligrams of sodium from Himalayan pink salt, and that was about 20 minutes ago. You should feel a difference within 2 minutes. I haven't dropped dead of a heart attack or something. So that's vitally important. People who get heart palpitations, people who feel tired all the time, who have constipation and these things, that is almost always caused by a potassium deficiency. And more so a sodium deficiency, because if you get adequate amounts of sodium, your body actually is able to hold on to potassium. So you can be taking all the potassium you want, but it's not going to make a difference without sodium, okay? And that goes for high blood pressure as well. High blood pressure typically is caused by irregularities in fluid balance. Usually high insulin and high carbohydrate diets raise blood pressure, and they raise triglycerides as well. And if you can get your insulin on check, blood pressure goes down. And I have many studies, dietary intervention studies, to prove this. And that could also be because your body starts to dump sodium, maybe. But the thing is, potassium, adequate amounts of potassium in the tissues in the serum, that's what regulates your blood pressure. And without enough sodium, your body can't retain potassium. So it's more of a sodium deficiency that indirectly causes potassium deficiency that fucks up your blood pressure. Long story short, the point of this video is get enough salt, get enough potassium, don't be scared, okay? 1 tablespoon a day. So 5 grams of sodium a day when it comes to regular sodium, regular salt. And then try to supplement with like 2/4 teaspoons of this particular brand of salt. But whatever you do, talk to your doctor if you have any kind of problems regulating potassium. Go very slow at first, and make sure you get adequate amounts of sodium with your potassium. Okay, if you have adverse reactions to potassium, it's probably because you're not getting enough sodium. And then also try to get about 400 milligrams of supplemental magnesium before bed. Okay, because that also plays a role in this. Now, as a side note, if you don't want to mess with all the ratios and you just want a pre-made formula, there's a brand called Element by my buddy Rob Wolf, and it's spelled LMNT, and it's already put together for you. It's got about 60 milligrams of magnesium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 1,000 milligrams of sodium. And they have flavored packets. It's low carb, it's keto approved, and it's all conveniently put into a package. So go ahead and search that up if you're interested. I take so much and whatnot. I just get this and mix it myself. So for more questions and comments, post them down below. Follow me on Instagram, Keto Conqueror with a K, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.